Hey there. Good morning. We've got our microphone ready. We're about to add our paint cam into the stream. But I've got so many different designs. It is so tough to choose from. But I think I know which one I'm going to use. Let me just recap and show you one I did last week. This one is the one that was done last week. I thought it turned out well. I enjoy painting so much. And so, of course, I have these. And where are my manners? Let me say hi. Okay. I'm so glad you're in my studio. So glad to welcome you in. My name is Bernaid Flournoy. I'm an art teacher. I've got 20 years in. Well, more than 20 actually, but where I am now, 20 years in. And I do that by day. And I love teaching. Um, should I say that I also love teaching online? Let me blink on that. So I'm an art teacher by day. I love painting people, love watching people, and love all the different skin tones. Oh, I eat that up. And at my school, we've got so many different skin tones. And that's not part of the introduction, but I got to tell you, I've got some kindergartners that know how to blend their skin tone. Oh, it is so delicious to teach and it's delicious to watch. So I'm an art teacher by day, portrait painter by night and weekends. I'm a paint party instructor and I make art kits. Thinking about adding a Canvas of the Month club. So many amazing designs, y'all. They're just too many, just too many. Let me grab this one too. There are others. So many. Let me just go like this. So many. But it is springtime. That means it is flower season, the word spring. It's graduation time, prom time. I am pulled toward this beautiful design today. So I was torn. I was torn. I still have to set up my paints and my water. So if anybody pops on live, let me know. I am so torn, y'all. Let me come close. Look at here. I don't know. You say do both? I know. I probably will eventually because I'm this. I probably will eventually. All right. So I don't know what kind of week you had, but I'm in here for a little bit of creative therapy. Okay. You can go to my website, grab the latest download, and I still need to upload it for spring. And I made a mistake after I took pictures. I left my little paint pot open. Thank goodness it was pretty much empty. Yes, look, I'm showing it over there as though I've got my paint cam on. I just need to add my paint cam. Look at here. All of these are empty. You see that? And when I tell you we have been rocking this and only had to fill up a couple just a little bit, but I'm going to set that aside. I do have more. Y'all, I don't know if I'm going to paint two or not. And some people like the print light, some like it dark. I would keep it dark for the children, but I would always have a couple of variations because some just need a very faint guideline and others really need to really see it all during the painting. So let me invite myself in. I think I'm going to do this one, y'all. Let me get this light out of the way. I think I'm going to do this one. Can I prop this up? This is what I'm going to do. while I am adding myself. This is what I'm going to do. I should still do this or that. Ooh, now we're not trying to. Let me come a little bit closer. And I should probably say this or that. Yeah, I'm trying not to make things fall. Oh, no, let me get out of that. Joining myself on StreamYard. I don't know if you can see. And I need you one day to join me. So I'm entering the studio here, and then I'll pop on. Here we go. There we are. I see us there. Okay, we are in here and we are ready. Okay, so I don't know which one to choose. You know, I may have to come on early one day and actually do a vote. Man, I am torn. I would love to say I could do them both today, but I probably won't. I may pop on later. Now, you know, when I say that, you know, life goes on. We got other stuff to do. So let me add a little bit of water. I have my brushes. And I guess I'm going to squeeze out my own paints today. Or maybe not. Because we got another one of these paint pots. Boom, boom, boom. Ready to go. Let me make sure I should keep that kind of right there. All right. Let me lower this down a little bit so you guys can see what we have going on. Okay, let's pop that open. I don't know, I'm just so thirstified today. Let's pop these open. Oh, my computer has calmed down. I am so glad. Let me just bring this a little bit closer so I can see what we're doing. There we go. Easy peasy. And I like to get the paint out of the lids. So you'll probably see me doing that because we're frugal over here. Okay. All right. So I've got my little mixing plate that I reuse and reuse. But if you need to, you can start on a fresh surface. Some people paint on like a thick glass and they can just scrape off the old paint and reuse. For those of us who are conscious, and like I say, I just recycle. Sometimes I use the back, the top. So this plate is getting heavy because the layers of the paint build up. Now I've got my brushes over here. I'm going to wet them down just so that they're ready. And you'll probably see me out of habit re-wet them. I have a couple of old Q-tips over here. This one is still good, so I'm going to keep that one right there. So I've got my things. I've got my napkin. I just don't have my wax paper that I normally paint on, and we may bypass that. This one or that one. This or that. This or that. This or that. This or that. I think we're going to go with this one. We're going to keep it nice, simple, and I may come back and do that one too, y'all. Now, I have this ready to go for paint parties in person because, you know, we're ready to get out and enjoy the nice spring time. Let me make sure that this is being seen here. This is Michael's brand, Craft Smart. Let me make sure this is going the right way. So this is a nice baby blue, sky blue. So that's over there. Now, what to do, what to do? There could be so many different ways to go about this. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I think I am just going to go right on ahead and just wet this just a smidge. All right. And you know how I say that you should mix up your brown, but if you don't want to mix up your brown, you go and buy one that's close to your skin tone. This one is called Melted Chocolate by Apple Barrel. Okay. This one is a little bit darker. Usually I will get, and this is what I use in the kits, the nutmeg brown. That's closer to my skin tone. And of course, you can darken it and lighten it as you need. So, but since I have this one open, the other one is not open. We're just going to go on with this. Let's see, we've got a little brown over here, so I'm going to squeeze that out over there. And as you know, it could be the peachy, lighter skin. It could be a little bit more, what do you call it? Peanut buttery. I'm just going to go ahead on in here. And let's get going with the skin tone. Now this brush, like I said, these are, I'm going to say maybe 5 paintings and done unless you're working on wood. That wood really eats these brushes up. Now, I probably need to do the background first, but we're going in right here. Okay. And I want to turn and twist this canvas. Let me get some more on here. Because I basically add the paint and I just kind of push it along. That's kind of what I do. Paint pusher, is that going to be my name now? Paint pusher technique. Now we're just going to get this first coat on here. A darker coat may be nice to add when you're ready to shade. Now, I went outside the line here a little bit. I'm going to catch a little bit of water over here. And you want to do that as quickly as possible. And I'm going right on back up in here. And now I'm going to take that Q-tip. I'm lying. I can't take this Q-tip. Oh, good gracious, y'all. Let me take this paper towel. And if you have a baby wipe, now I'm just going to wet this paper towel right here and clean that up real fast while it is fresh and wet. Okay, so I am just going to quickly get this brown on here. And I like to use my paintbrush, kind of like I would a pencil. So we're just now I know this is horrible for video repurposing, but I like to turn the canvas as I'm working to make sure that I stay in control of the canvas and it is not controlling me. Now I know I need to go right back and clean that edge up. Let me smooth this out. Now I'll get that on there, but I know I need to go carefully around these edges. And like I say, I get a little bit of paint on that front end and I drag it along. Okay, we're just going to go right on to the tip here. And I'm going to quickly switch to come along this little edge right here. Okay, let's do that quick. Ooh, let's try to make sure we're getting those edges there. I like to cover up the lines. Some people like to paint within the line. And I just say you do what's comfortable for you. I'm going around all of these little pleats of the fabric right here. Okay, and I'm just going to do another little quick coat right here. We're going to say this is outside of the light. And then maybe over here, let's make sure we... I'm so sorry. Let me get back up over here. That if anyone does come through live, through LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, I'll be able to see. Let's make sure we're handling this with care right around this edge here. Now, even though I do throw this paint around seemingly haphazardly sometimes, around the edges you want to kind of be really careful so that you can keep the subtlety of that contoured line. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw a quick little bit of red or pink on the nails right here because I know I'm going to need a second coat. I'm going to go right on in there, boom, boom, boom. Keeping it thin. And we may have to come back and contour around there again. And like I say, I like to go right up to the edge. Okay. And let me clean out. And I may have squeezed out just a wee too much of the paint. Because you don't need a lot. All right. So there we are. Okay. All right. So now, let me lift this one up over here. So this is someone with very dark brown skin. Like I said, you could use any skin tone that you'd like. So let me clean that out. And I think I'm going to just quickly go ahead and do this black hair. That way that is done and established. I have my hair dryer handy. Let me go along the edge. Let me be very careful. Go along the edge here. And when you see me kind of bending that brush down, I'm trying to push the paint out onto the canvas. Okay, so let me go back around this edge right here. All right. Now, let me get a dip in to about the bottom third of my brush. And I dip in again because we're just trying to push off a lot of paint right now. I'm going to go back around this way. I'm trying to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Oopsie. Okay, so there we go. All right, so let me go on and up in here and get a little bit more brown right along that edge right here. And I still have a little bit of black. Okay, so I'm going to go right on over here. All right, so I'm going to take some of this. Matter of fact, I'm going to mix a little bit of this black and this brown over here on purpose and go ahead and hit up a couple of areas, okay, that I want to clarify. Okay, that are going to be a little bit darker. Okay, so this is still kind of wet up here. Let me go ahead and make sure I get this second coat on right here. Sometimes that's all that matters is that second coat. And it may not be in every area, but a couple of areas will be key. So keep that in mind too. So I'm going along now with that second coat. All right, I do believe we've got most of the skin tone covered. Now, what color did we say that was? That was, yeah, what did I just do with it that fast? Let me hold this up. Oh, here it is. Melted chocolate. That's what this one is. Melted chocolate by Apple Barrel. Okay. Make sure I'm holding it in over here as well. Forward. Melted chocolate by Apple Barrel. And let's see, we are 27 minutes or so in. I'm just kind of letting that dry a little bit, but I think we're going to go ahead and hit this blue. I'm trying to think. Now this is the same blue. Let me make sure this is good and cleaned out. I don't believe I did. So let me make sure my brush cleaned out and ready. And you guys know that I don't like to really dirty up my water, so I'll soak up a little bit of water and wipe off the majority of the paint onto the paper towel to kind of keep my water as fresh as possible. But you know, everybody does their thing. But this is something that I've been doing over the years. Even when I paint in oil, I keep my turpentine as fresh as possible by just dipping that brush in the water, let it absorb, or dipping my brush in the turpentine or whatever cleaning substance. And then, of course, just wiping it out on a cloth or your paper towel. Now you'll see what I'm talking about that second coat over here. This is drying pretty well now. There's still some shiny points around the neck area that you might be able to see. But over here by the arm, you'll see that it definitely needs a second coat. And that's what I think we're going to go ahead and do right now. While we have this paint out here, I'm going to just thin it down just a wee bit with a little bit of water. Not a lot. But we want that second coat to go over there and coat that canvas to give it a nice, rich, not a splotchy effect. So if your paint does not look rich, it's probably because you need a second coat there somewhere. And that's easy to do at a paint party really quickly, especially if there's a hair dryer to move things along pretty fast. So I am going in here where I do believe a second coat is needed, but I'm not touching where the areas are wet because then you're just going to lift that paint back up. So, okay, I think we have done what we needed to do. Okay, so now once that dries, let me go ahead and clean that out. Once that dries, then we'll see what that looks like. Honey, that's starting to take place. Let's see, what other color do I have back here? This is that Apple Barrel Caribbean. All right. I think there's some kind of number there. Apple Barrel. And it's kind of like a turquoise blue. And I'm trying to decide, do I want the dress light or do I want the background light? I think we're going to go ahead and do the background light. And I'm just going to squeeze this right on the canvas. And we're going to just go on in there. We probably should have done the background first. But here we go. All right, here we go. We're ready. All right. So I'm just going to take this and pick this up. And right along the edge. I should go along the edge, but I'm not going to do that right now. Just for time's sake, I'm going to just take some of this paint and push it and drag it. I'm going to just put some right on the tip. I didn't go in and swoop all of that up. I'm just going to push it. I'm going to pick up some more paint, and I'm dragging it along that edge. Okay, all I'm doing is carving out that edge with enough paint, and then I'll go back and I'll clean it up. Okay, so this is that little subtle technique that kind of cleans up that edge. And you may have to do that with a second coat to clean up your edge. All right, so here we go. So now I'm just going to go right here because there's plenty of paint to bring it right to the edge. If there's time, I may go paint the side. Know that I'm a firm believer in painting the sides of your canvas. But for time's sake today, now if this is too bright for you, of course you can go dim it out with a little bit of white, but we're just going right from this bottle, y'all. There's a little paint booger. You got to watch out for those too. And it's good to have that Q-tip or a toothpick right there to get rid of the little paint boogers. So I just want to make sure from the front, this is covered right here. This little curve around the edge. All right, I am happy with that. And it would just really take like another couple of moments. Uh-oh, there are a couple of boogers here. Let me get those out of there. You want to grab those out as quickly as you can. It's like crumbs. Sometimes if that paint has been sitting a while, and some of mine really has been, this may need a second coat, but it may not. I'm going to take some of this paint right here, y'all, and go right here along this edge. Okay. I am. See, this may make me go ahead and paint everything because it doesn't take that long. Let me grab up a little bit of water along with the paint that's there and what's inside of my brush. And there's a lot inside of my brush still. So I'm just going to just kind of stain that edge. Just because this is what I tell you to do. It just makes a more finished look. Okay, let me show it towards the front. Just makes a more finished look. And you know what? It just didn't dawn on me, y'all. Hold on just a second. We could have been painting like this for forever. Let's see. That's all I have? Nope. Okay, so we could have been painting like this, y'all. Could have been a little bit better. Let me move this to the side and bring this light in a little bit closer. See if that will help us a little bit more. Okay. I think I have a cobalt blue or maybe a midnight blue that I think would be really, really nice for this. But let's go ahead now that this part is drying out pretty good. Okay. Need to hit it with that hair dryer. Let's see, how can we do this in here? Let me find it now. Oh, here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze some of this out right here. Okay. Oh yeah, there's some paint boogers up in there. I see them as they're coming out of the container. So I am once again going in with that one edge and pulling that brush, and I'm just going to fill this in as much as possible. Then I'm going to get that smaller brush, smoothing this out as much as I can. Now, if this were a newer brush, I could probably do the whole thing, kind of like what I'm doing right now. All right, I am kind of doing the whole thing. Let me get just a little bit. Let me come in close. I pull in just a little bit on that front corner. Let me make sure we're good. Pull in just a little bit on that front corner, and then I drag it. Just drag it along. I drop it down so I can stay in control of it. Okay. All right, y'all. We are trying to stay in control of it. All right. So we got that part. Let's go on in here. Same thing. I load it and I kind of drop it down in a large area, and then I swoop in and I get it as much. I get as much as I need. All right, so I'm kind of pushing it backwards a little bit. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just going to do the same thing out here, y'all. Just because I can, right here on this edge. Whoop! My goodness, that's a big old little snotty paint booger. We're pulling that up out of there. Let's get that over there. Okay. It can be a little bit annoying, but it doesn't stop anything. You just might need to get some fresh paint and keep on with your life. I'm pushing. I'm going to try to put. I'm going to, because this hand is really an important aspect. So I really want to be careful as I come along that edge right there. And I may have to get a second coat because I did add a little bit of water. Let me get this little booger up out of there. Let me go in for a little bit more paint. I think I got the big booger out. I'm like pressing the paint out right here so I can make like a puddle of paint and come along that edge. Is that a booger? All right, so I have loaded up my brush pretty good. Just going to come right along this edge. Okay. And I'm going around here very carefully because I don't want to repaint this arm. So I shift and move as needed. Okay. I'm just dragging it right here, right to the edge. And now I can pull it. I've eliminated most of that white along that edge. That was the mission. So now, even though I know this other side over here is still a little bit wet, I can go right on along here. I'm adding some more paint. Oh, that's another big glob paint booger, but that's okay. It's on the side. We're going to eliminate that. You know what? I don't believe that I shared that I'm live in the group, y'all. Ooh! I don't believe I shared that live link. So let me get to a stopping point over here and I will do that. Just trying to get these edges right here. And then I'll come back and paint the top edge. And I think we'll be well down the road. Now, this evening gown is great for maybe a prom paint party or pre-prom or post-prom paint party, paint your prom dress type of thing. Now see, I'm going on ahead doing the top because I just can't help it. It's right here. It's also good for bridal shower, bridal bachelorette type of paint party. She said yes. Or maybe a wedding anniversary after your bridesmaids have all gone back home with their dresses. Maybe a year later, y'all pull it out and paint it. It's so many reasons for a paint party. Let me go up in here and clean this edge up, y'all. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, I may pull out that dryer because we know this side over here is super wet. Let me get this one that kind of comes to a point and come right on up in here. Boom. Cleaning that edge up. Let me get some right on the tip again. Boom, boom, boom. Looks like I need to come on in here and clean that inside edge up, but I may need to let it dry. Okay, just smoothing that part out. All right. Okay, it's coming along. Coming along, you guys. Let's go ahead on over here. All right, so we still have that bottom edge to paint. So while I'm sharing this out, let me make sure this is cleaned out. And it's okay if you get a little paint outside the lines, but I use these as examples. So I want to make sure that it is as clean as I can get it, right? So you take a little bit of care. I don't think the background needs a second coat. I think that is popping out quite lovely. I can use that bright blue in there, but I want kind of maybe like a midnight blue, and I might do a little bit of ombre. Let's see, I've got like a little bit of cobalt. Who knows? I might mix it a little bit. Let's see what other blue that I have. I do have like a darker blue here. So this is navy blue. So I might do a little bit of blue mixing. Let's see. Did this open? Now there probably will be some paint boogers in here. Because like I said, I bought this paint, but it's just been sitting. Oh yeah, I like that. So I'm going to hurry up. I'm going to take some of the paint that I have in here, and I'm just going to swirl this on. Oh, y'all. Yes, yes, yes. Now, it's a little bit too much paint, but I'm going to wipe some of this off. Okay, I'm going right up to this line over here. Some of us are a little more curvaceous than the others. Some have been blessed with a little more hippage than the others. What you call it? I'm hip. What you call it? Hip challenged. That's okay. It's the way God made me. I'm more, what you call it? Breast delicious. There we go. Let's go ahead and get that on over there. Y'all, let me share this out. This is just too much fun to keep towards myself. Oh, I'm so glad I had that darker. Oh, Lord. So glad I had that darker blue. Okay, let me move my light over a little bit. Let me move my paint. And you see, we didn't use a lot of different colors. We had a few. Let me make sure you see that slightly dark shadow up here by the neck. So you know there's a chin just out of range. Look at that. Now, if you are past the newbie stage, you can, of course, do your modifications, add a little bit more highlights and different things like that. Stay in your comfort zone. If all you want to do is just paint the skin tone and keep it that nice flat matte shape of the arm, the neck, the face without any features, do that. Nobody's coming for you. Now, if we're in art class, I may tell you after it dries, go look at it. Go look at it in the mirror and see if you want to pop out any highlights. You may be like, no, Miss Fenoy, I'm good. Or Miss Bernie, I'm good. Or no Bernade, or no art lady, or no the paint party lady, I'm good. And people tell me that. And then, we leave it and we keep on moving. Let me make sure this is shared, you guys. Now watch, this computer's about to go on and act nuts and bananas. Let me see if I can get out of the way. Okay, we've shared, we're back. Now, as you see, it's almost kind of like shoveling snow. Now, this paint is not designed to be thick. Okay, this is craft paint, which is designed to lay flat. But I've got lots of it on here, and the extra I am definitely going to take off. But I decided to do this part very quickly. So I drag that paint along, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. There's lots of paint right here. And in order for me to stay in control, I look at where the edge of my brush is, and I'm just kind of dragging it and pushing that paint, pushing it out, and bringing it back over where I don't need it to be. So I'm going back in here and I'm smoothing some of this out. Even though it appeared to be a lot of paint, it gets soaked up in those little, what do you call it, little canvas caves. Now, I'm not saying the right name, but you know what I mean. The weft and the weave or whatever that is. So I've got a lot of brush still in my paint. So I am flattening it out, pushing some of that out so that I can capture it and come along this edge and do my little push broom technique. All right. Like I said before, some of us are a little more hip challenged than others. Yo, I didn't share it to my page, did I? Yo, never mind. I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to come up in here and add a little bit of bright blue before it gets too dry. But I want to come over here, take all of that extra, and I'm kind of scraping it right now. Now those lines, you may like those lines to give you a little bit more texture. But now I want to go along these fingers. Carefully. And I'm doing this with the big brush. All right, I'm going to go in carefully. Whoopsie. Boy, that was close. Now, see, I don't have my glasses on to see how close I really am, but we are taking a chance with this big brush. I still have lots of paint in here. All right. We are still taking a huge chance cutting in this edge with this big brush. So what I think I'm going to do now is be smart. Go in here and get me a little bit of this right here and go along with this little fine tip. And just kind of cut. Let me dip in, get just a little bit more water. And I'm blending this part over here with some of that surrounding paint. This is like a little mountain right here. So we're going to just cut. And I'm going back in the surrounding area to kind of get a little bit more of that paint. And I'm going to go back in a little bit more. I've got plenty of paint. Okay, so we are adding these little details in over here, y'all. Let me get the tip. I don't have my glasses on, so we just go cut. And that's a big old mound of paint right here, so I'm going to go in, get some of that. Now I'll have plenty to finish that up. I'm going to go in. Let me go back and pick some of that up. Now I've got plenty. Let me put my little pinky out here to steady. Okay. All right. We have gotten that part together. Let me get just a little bit of smidge of water because this is a lot of paint right here along this edge. And I'm just going to go right here. And I'm going to bring that dress out here. Okay. Same with over here. I'm just going to come right on over here and bring that little dress right on out over here. Now I need to let some of the rest of this dry. All right. Okay. So we thought we'd put a little spin on it. And then now we can come up here with a little bit of this. We're just kind of cleaning out our brush, adding lots of water. I should get a little bit of the acrylic medium, which acts like a little bit of glue. And sometimes, in a pinch, if you don't have anything else, I would add just a little bit of Elmer's glue just to make sure that this paint is going to stick to the surface. So here we are. I'm going to go up in here. Now I'm about to use this other paint, so there's still plenty of, what do you call it, like a bonding agent in here. So I've got a little bit of this and that. And I'm trying to get real close to the edge to make sure I'm eliminating any white right here. All right. So now I'm going to go back in. I didn't squeeze any of this out. I'm going to go back in and squeeze just a smidge for any touch-ups that's needed. And that's cobalt blue. I'm lying. I used True Navy. That's what I did originally. But that's okay. We're going to take this blue cobalt. We're going to go in here and hit it just a little bit. Trying to get a tool-like feel. We just in here having fun. Okay. You know that whole fish tail. This is a paint booger. Let me get that out of there. All right. So I need to probably add a little smidge of this coloring up in here. Now, I don't know why I thought I would be able to get 2 paintings done in an hour. I guess I'm just delusional because I know I'm a slow poke. But if I wasn't so careful and I'm just trying to just whiz through here, oh, let me make sure that gets handled, then I probably would. But I just enjoy it. I didn't know I was going to have this much fun today. I knew I was going to have fun. I just didn't know I was going to have this much fun. Okay. So we're just trying to blend this part just a little bit, y'all. That's all. We're just trying to blend it in a little bit. Okay. Let's see where we are. Okay, so some of this is still wet, but it's coming along. I think it's cute. Somehow or another, I think maybe a little silver. You remember, well, I'll be. Remember, we need to do just another little smidge on these nails. Okay, just another little smidge. Okay, and I think we're okay. I wasn't quite sure of the final thought statement on this ring here. Let's see if I want to maybe add a little bit of this cerulean here. When my brushes start to split apart real bad. Let's see if that cerulean profile right here will be good. Okay. And then let's go ahead and add a little bit of this down here. Just to make sure we know that that is done. Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can flatten this brush out just a little bit. Okay. So that's kind of glowing down there. I kind of like this little cobalt true navy blue theme. I don't want to say it's a straight up mermaid theme, but it's got mermaid kind of flavoring to it. I'm just using up some of this paint right here while I'm trying to make another decision over here what I want to do with this part. And I might just need to go right on back and paint that cerulean and leave it alone. We tried it. We're going right on back. Okay. So it's kind of faded out a little bit. We tried it, y'all. Is that a little bit better fade out? Okay. Okay. We fixed it back. Sometimes we got to experimental. Okay. Now I remember why I need the wax paper, because the wax paper helps protect my poster board. So this is it for today. I could probably add a little bit of glitter, go in with a little bit of white to pop it. Oh, good gracious. To go in with a little bit of white to pop it a little bit. Let's see. And watch. It's going to take off again, y'all. Watch. Uh-huh. I can hear the engine is getting ready to roll. All right. It doesn't want me to I see right now it doesn't want me to get in here and do too much. That's okay. I'm not mad. Let me do a replication over here in the background over here, and let me double check my image. Mm-hmm. Child. Of course, I can't find it right now, but that's okay. We're going to pop it our own way. But I love this. This is fun. I cannot find what I'm looking for, and it should be right here. That's okay. I think it's on my desktop. Let me scroll back just a little bit. While this is, drying, I just want to make sure that it's the image that I need it to be, you know, before we let you go. But I'm so glad you were able to join. Let's see here. All right. I don't know. There we go. I knew it. Should have been here. Okay. And here it is. All right, y'all. I just want to kind of pop it a little bit. Let me pull this window out. That way I can give you, there we go. The best view that I have. Let me shrink this back down. Okay. I think we've let it dry enough. And now to add just a little bit of zhuzh, and we're going to leave this alone. Once again, let me lift this up so you can see the subtle, right up underneath the chin, a little bit of a shadow there. And if these light areas bother you, it just needs to have maybe one more coat of the brown. One more coat of the brown, and then we can leave that alone. Even the streaks in the dress, if you want to not have those, I don't mind them. You could do one more coat. So I think what we're going to do is just add just a few little zhuzhes and call it a day. All right. Yep, just a few little zhuzhes. Now that it's 99% dry, remember to paint along the edge. That way you won't need a frame later. So we didn't finish this bottom edge. And this is matte. So most of this that I work with is matte acrylic paint. Let me close off all of this other stuff here. We don't need any more of this. And we really didn't get in here and use much of this today because we used the cerulean. Wait a minute. I'm saying cerulean, but it's Caribbean apple barrel. And we used, I didn't use any bright blue, did I? Not today. But I did use this true navy on the dress. And you could just make that with the bright blue and adding some black to it. I would just make sure that you've got like a little cup or something so that you're not spreading it out. You're kind of keeping it contained in a smaller area. Wait a minute. I need the white. I'm going to pop it with a little bit of white and black, but I'm trying to close this. There we go. So let me open the white back up just a little bit. And I like the paint pots because I'm not putting a bunch out here and then it just dries. I can just mix what I need over here and then most of the paint is still there. Okay, so now let me I'm going to pull out some of the black. So I'm pulling in a little bit of water over here, just a little bit. And I'm going to get just a little bit of black right on the tip, mix it in with some of the water. And if you're a real stickler, you probably want to make sure you have some kind of acrylic medium as opposed to just straight water. You add a little bit of that. But now we're just going to go in. I'm going to get just a little bit more black. Go in here with this little bit of water that I've mixed up here. And you can just go in if you want. You don't have to do this. You can just do it in certain areas just to pop it. But you can go along the whole entire painting with this black if you want. You don't have to, once again. Just one right here. Okay. I'm just coming around this dress to outline. And you might want to make sure that you go back over some of the little lines that are there. But you don't have to outline the whole thing. I'm putting this darker line right along here. Same with over here. Let me do my little pinky finger. Okay. Make sure I got some black on here. Okay. All right. Just a smidge, not a lot. And I just have just residual black on here. I'm going to go in right here. I don't have a lot more left, so that's okay too. Okay. All right. So here we are, just kind of popping that blue a little bit. Let me go and get a little bit more of this black right here. All right. Just to make sure that is okay. And I think what I might do, grab a little bit more off the edge here and just come right here on this edge. Let me get some more. A smidge of water, a little bit more of that paint. And I'm just trying to treat this little tip like a marker. Oh, my hands are starting to shake. I'm holding this up just to pop it out just a little bit. Probably did a little bit too much. So let me drag that on down here because I was part of the too much club. That means we got to go over here. Be part of the too much club again. Okay. I'm just using some of the residual that's on my brush already. And we don't know until it dries. Now this part is still wet. Okay, so we're just doing a little bit of zhuzhing. We don't have to, but that's what we're doing. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I don't think I need any more outlines anywhere. Now, let me clean this out. Let's see if I want to do the same thing with just a little bit of white to lighten it up just a little bit. So I've got a little bit of water. I'm going to do the same thing, a little bit of white on my tip. Come on over here. Wipe this off on the side here. Drag up some of that water. And now I've got a nice consistency to make it kind of pop a little bit. Just do a little bit of zhuzh here. Okay. Just a little bit here. Okay. A little bit there, not a whole lot. Let's do a little bit on this nail. Let's make sure we got the paint on the tip. Okay, a little bit there, a little bit on this little ring down here. A little bit on this nail right here. I think we're going to leave this alone, y'all. Okay. We're done messing around, just having a good time. This has been, what do you call it? Do we remove this one? Yep. This has been my creative health for this week here. So much fun. And I could get in there and mess around a little bit. One thing that I do suggest is that I'm going to touch up the top with just a little bit more brown while we're closing out. Ooh, squeezed out too much. See, that's the benefit of having those paint pots. So if you are creating, Michaels carries them as well. I would suggest squeezing out some paint into those. So yeah, let me go right on ahead here. Around that top edge. Right here. Okay, that way we don't see that blue. And that's what I'm seeing. So that's what I go, let me make sure we still have that illusion. And I may need to get a little bit of this black, y'all. Let me get a little bit of this black to go in with a little bit of this brown. Okay. Give that illusion of shadow. So now we're just going to go in with straight black for this hair part. Okay. And I'm going to leave this alone because I'll just keep piddling because it's fun. Okay. Because this is fun.com, y'all. Just going to drag this on down here. You really can't see a whole lot of what I'm doing, y'all. Let me lower this. I'm trying not to knock this computer off. Hold on, people. So I'm still just doing just a little zhuzhing right here. Right along this top edge. Because I can still see it from the front. All right. And any texture that we add up in here is all right. That's bonus. All right, y'all. So we have touched this up. Just cleaning out this brush because sometimes when I get off a live, I'm gone. And then I forget. And then my little brush is just left over here. So thank you so much for popping in. And let me move all of these over here because I think I used all of these. Okay, except. So that's what I did use. Let me make sure I have those in the shot. And of course, some black. Try not to get this on my. Let me move this out of the way before I end up with black on my shirt. All right, here we are. We're about to get our little YouTube shot. And in this broadcast, it is prom season. Let me make sure I have the light up here. Why do we have that going that way? Let's turn it this way. Let me get this out of the way. Let's move this close. You know what? I'm going to end up with some paint on my face. That's all right. For the love of art, huh? Let's make sure this is. There we go. On the. There we go. Thanks for joining. This is Bernaid Flournoy, art teacher by day, portrait painter by night, paint party instructor on the weekends, and art kit maker. Soon to have a Canvas of the Month club. You might as well join. You'll have a nice selection to choose from. And we'll have some custom orders for those of you that have, some ideas. So peace to you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. This is great for bachelorette parties, bridal showers. Prom season is here. And just ladies that wear their evening wear. I don't have any of this fancy, but we can dream. So peace to you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Signing off.